to love people and to protect people.
It's like K-pop, right? But it's gay pop.
There it is. The Oscars were held last night. It was an event that passed almost entirely without notice, if not for one incident, which we'll discuss in a moment. Before we get there, it's worth reflecting on the fact that award shows used to be ratings bonanzas. I mean, there was a time in the not too distant past when 40 million people, 50 million people would sit around their televisions on a Sunday night and watch a bunch of wealthy drug addicts give themselves awards for 5 hours. Those days are long gone. Soon, the era of televised award shows will be officially over. They'll no longer exist at all. And our children will look at us with bewilderment when we explain that once upon a time, we used to actually watch celebrities give speeches about how great celebrities are. They will certainly find that confusing. I have always found it confusing, and I lived through that era in history myself. Last night, judging by the clips that I saw online anyway, because of course I didn't, like everybody else, I didn't actually watch the show, they kicked things off by going political right away, wasting no time. Just planting the flag right away. This is what it's about. And of course, the first item on the woke agenda was to virtue signal about the fictional Don't Say Gay bill that leftists have invented. Watch.
We're going to have a great night tonight, and for you people in Florida, we're going to have a gay night. Gay.
What courage. What courage. I mean, it's hard to fathom the bravery required to stand on stage in front of a room full of gay people and say the word gay over and over again. This is what heroism is all about. And they kept playing the hits. You know, later in the monologue, they threw in a bit about toxic masculinity and also Mitch McConnell. Listen.
You know, this year we saw a frightening display of how toxic masculinity turns into cruelty towards women and children.
I tell you, damn that Mitch McConnell.
I know.
Yeah, because when you think of toxic masculinity, the first person that comes to mind is Mitch McConnell. A little later in the night, Hispanic actor John Leguizamo took the stage to applaud Hollywood's representation and all of the beautiful Latinx faces. Listen.
Look at all these beautiful faces out here. All these beautiful Latinx faces. We got great representation here tonight, people.
Oh, sorry. Not Latinx, Latinx. Yeah. I always forget how to pronounce that made-up word. I'm not exactly sure what a Latinx face looks like, seeing as how there's no such thing as a Latinx person. Latinx, at best, sounds like the name of a Hispanic OnlyFans site. It's certainly not the name for a group of people, especially because if this sort of thing is important to you, there are already numerous gender-neutral terms available to describe that group, terms like Hispanic or even just Latin. But again, wokeness is insular, self-referential. It's gibberish to anyone who is not already fully indoctrinated into it. That's why the left has to work so hard and so desperately to indoctrinate children into the cult. Because they know that adults who grew up in saner times are increasingly turned off by this sort of thing and are rapidly tuning it out, in a literal sense, when it comes to the Oscars. That is, people were tuned out until the smack heard round the world. Now, you've no doubt already seen this clip, but let's all watch it again for entertainment's sake. If nothing else, watch.
He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Truly the most atrocious thing Will Smith has done since the Aladdin remake. This guy learned nothing at all after spending all that time with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air. On the positive side, however, Smith's physical assault of Chris Rock completely overshadowed and drowned out all of the virtue signaling that came before it. All this like LGBT stuff, they had all the Ukraine stuff, and like all that's out the window. The celebrities in attendance wanted the story to be about them heroically chanting the word gay, wearing blue ribbons in support of Ukraine. They didn't want this to be the story. That's also why you shouldn't buy into any conspiracy theories that the incident was staged. Okay, it was not. That's a more absurd idea than the incident itself was. Now, maybe the VMAs circa 1997 may have staged something like this, but not the woke Oscars of 2022. This is entirely real. And we should admit the most entertaining thing that's happened at any award show in at least 25 years. Personally, I might actually start watching these things if the whole show is just a bunch of celebrities beating the hell out of each other on stage, like a really well-dressed version of Celebrity Deathmatch. But as fun as it may be to watch, that was nonetheless a physical assault which was committed on national television in front of literally dozens of viewers. Something tells me that if you or I had walked onto stage during an event of that kind, or any other kind, and committed assault against a presenter right in front of everybody, we'd be in handcuffs within 15 seconds. Instead, Will Smith sat back down, enjoyed the rest of the show, even won Best Actor later in the evening, where he proceeded to cry and paint himself as the victim of the physical assault that he just committed. Listen.
Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people.
I mean, Scientology really messes with your brain. Just don't try it, kids, even once. Only in Hollywood can a man assault another man and then 20 minutes later give a tearful speech about the power of love. I'm a river to my people by smacking Chris Rock. Also, keep something else in mind. Will Smith, and this is the most important thing about this incident to keep in mind, he has bragged publicly on multiple occasions about the fact that his wife sleeps with other men. He has long been out of the cuckold closet, very open about the fact that his wife enjoys jumping in bed with strange men. So any temptation you might feel to take his side, to argue that this was a husband defending his wife's honor, as I've seen, like a few people, a few conservatives even have said, well, this is right. This is traditional values. Traditional values. He's a cuckold in an open marriage with this woman. He laughed at the joke at first and then looked over at his wife scowling and said, uh-oh. This was him doing it primarily this was another act of emasculation by him. And any temptation you have to defend him must be mitigated by the fact that to Will Smith, defending his wife's honor does not include preventing other men from having sex with her. So you dare not joke about his wife, but you can have sex with her. Now that's a man of principle. As a cuckold, there's no honor left to defend. He doesn't have any. Neither does she. How can he defend what doesn't exist? But then again, they did award Best Picture to a movie that doesn't exist, so who knows anymore? It's clear that the smack was not an honorable man fiercely defending his wife from an extremely mild joke about her hair. It was rather a privileged yet broken and emasculated man lashing out like a spoiled child and doing what no normal person in this country would be allowed to do and get away with it. He did what he did for his own sake, because he could. Later that night, he was filmed at an after party dancing and singing while a crowd cheered him on. You or I would be sitting in a jail cell right now still. He was at an Oscars party prancing around with his golden statue. Apparently the trauma he suffered from Chris Rock's joke was not enough to prevent him from dancing. A golden statue can heal even the deepest wounds, I suppose. Now, given that this was black-on-black violence and both men involved are fairly liberal, you may be wondering whose side the woke crowd would take, because it's not immediately clear how this is all going to shake out. But then when you think about it, there's no real mystery. One of the central tenets of leftism is that words, especially words in the form of jokes, are violence. mean, they hate stand-up comedians the most. And so, of course, assaulting a stand-up comedian, they love that. The emerging consensus on the left, therefore, is that Will Smith was justified because Chris Rock's joke was a form of violence. This was self-defense against a violent attack by a comedian. That's the justification, anyway, as offered even by prominent politicians like Ayanna Pressley and Jamal Bowman. But the real justification is that Will Smith is a non-white, left-wing Hollywood celebrity, and so he's allowed to do things that the rest of us peons cannot do. That is the privilege of leftism, an ideology that in so many ways exists in its own universe. Have you ever come across someone saying that capitalism is evil or something similar to that? Maybe in a video online or on TV or just talking to somebody? What was your reaction if you did? When did capitalism become such a hot button issue anyway? It seems like people have strong opinions about it and very little understanding of capitalism as a whole. Luckily, if you're looking to expand your knowledge and horizons on a broad range of topics, including subjects like capitalism, Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses. That's right, completely free. I do recommend watching their new course, Understanding Capitalism. In just 7 lectures, you'll learn about the role of profit and loss, how human nature shapes our economy, and why capitalism depends on private property rights, the rule of law, and freedom. You'll also discover why capitalism actually encourages morality rather than undermining it, like today's varying political agendas would have you believe. Understanding economics and capitalism empowers individuals and societies to make informed decisions, evaluate policy impacts, anticipate market changes, and ultimately create more prosperous communities. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/Walsh to enroll in this course, Understanding Capitalism. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/Walsh to enroll for free. hillsdale.edu/Walsh. I don't know exactly what a JoJo Siwa is. As best I can tell, she's a 21-year-old girl who used to be some kind of reality TV star as a child and has now become, or is trying to become, desperately a pop star. A few months ago, she debuted a new pop song called Karma, which she often performs wearing this outfit and doing these dance moves. Watch. As you can see, she's dressed like a villain from Power Rangers and doing dance moves that look something like a drunk, uncoordinated bridesmaid at a wedding. And this is what JoJo hopes you will consider edgy. She seems to want very badly to be seen as edgy and innovative. In a recent interview, she went so far as to declare that she had even invented a new genre of music. Watch.
The genre is, I said it back in the day when I first signed with Columbia, I said, I want to start a new genre of music. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, well, it's called gay pop. And they were like, what's that? And I was like, it's like K-pop, right? But it's gay pop.
Yes, the revolutionary new style of music is gay pop. She's the first person to ever combine gayness with pop music. Prior to this moment in time, pop music has been renowned for its heterosexuality. I can remember growing up in the 90s when a kid, a boy caught listening to NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys might be mocked by his classmates. You listen to boy bands, you must be straight, you damned hetero. This is at least what JoJo Siwa apparently imagines. That's why she's so proud of being the first gay person to ever produce a pop song, which is a bit like an NBA player in the year 2024 claiming to have invented a new concept called black basketball. It's like regular basketball that we all know and love, except this time, get this, black guys are playing it. Now, the claim may not make any sense, but JoJo isn't worried about making sense. She just wants you to notice her.
When I was 8 is when Miley had her bangers moment. And I was like, all I want is to have that one day. Like, I want that. And honestly, since I was like 15, like my whole like inner circle has been like talking about it and like getting excited for it.
I am shook about your look. Tell me about
really strange tan lines. It was really strange. I mean, what do you want to know about it? This is my Karma. It's a costume from the official music video. Honestly, I just wanted to wear it again. I love it so much. No one has made this dramatic of a change yet. No one has made, in my generation, this extreme of a switch. And I am the first in the generation. It is very scary, but someone's got to do it.
Biggest thing about this video, I don't care if people like it. I don't care if people hate it, but I want people to turn their head at it, and I want people to notice it.
Because I'm the real lesbian, yes, I'm the real lesbian. Will the other real lesbian please stand up? Makes Slim Shady, but the real lesbian. Yeah.
I don't care if you like it or hate it. I just want you to notice it. We got to give her credit for honesty, I suppose. There are a lot of attention seekers in the entertainment industry. She's not the only one. It's just that most of them won't come out and actually say that all they care about is getting attention. So the forthrightness here is something to appreciate, maybe even mildly respect. Unfortunately, there's nothing else to respect about this person, especially when you consider this story. Here's People magazine. Quote, JoJo Siwa is sharing new details about her surrogacy plans. In a video interview for Cosmopolitan's If It Were Me series, the Karma singer, 21, shared that she had specific hopes for how and when she would welcome her hypothetical future children. Quote, because I'm gay as and I have to plan a pregnancy much different than a straight person, I actually want to take 3 eggs, fertilize 3 eggs, and have 3 surrogates, she said. Quote, so technically they'll all be the same batch, but they would all be born separately. I'm going to have my surrogates, my babies, then maybe their birthdays will land on different days, and they can be like triplets, but like not. So she's gay as she says. That's the term she applies to herself. It's how she self-identifies, and I will certainly respect her self-identification. Would never dream of doing anything otherwise. She says that her gay status has led her to the conclusion that she should have 3 babies at the same time from the same batch, in her words, but by 3 different surrogates. Now, granted, she's speaking hypothetically about children who don't yet exist. She also has no idea what she's asking for. If you wind up with triplets naturally, then of course you embrace them and you love them as a gift from God, but no sane person actually sets out to have triplets. I've had twins twice, and even I look uncomprehendingly at parents with triplets. I can't imagine what taking care of 3 newborns at once must be like. It's the kind of challenge that you let God decide to give to you if he does. You put it in the hands of providence. You don't go seeking it out deliberately. So this is obviously an emotionally stunted young woman whose brain is warped from having been a child star. From what very little I know about her, she seems essentially incapable of expressing any kind of authentic human thought. Everything is a desperate attempt to shock and provoke. And this stuff about recruiting 3 surrogates at the same time is probably no different. Yet still, the language she's using reveals something about the surrogacy industry. She wants to cook up a batch of babies, she says, like they're baked goods and not human beings. She's not a married woman humbly embracing the procreative facet of the marital union. She is rather an unmarried, self-described gay woman hoping to fulfill some very specific, weird motherhood fantasy by engineering exactly the results that she desires. And all of the problems with surrogacy are in evidence here. First, most obviously, it is dehumanizing. There's a reason why the people who use surrogates can't help but talk about it in dehumanizing, bizarrely objectifying ways. The surrogate mother carrying the baby and the baby that is being carried are both products to them. They are objects to be obtained and controlled. This is human life as commodity. As I've said many times before, commercial surrogacy is the most direct and explicit form of human commodification since slavery. And that's why it should be banned. And anyone who uses surrogates should be treated with the same scorn as human traffickers, because that's what this is. Britney Spears went viral this week for all the wrong reasons, which is the only reason that she ever goes viral anymore these days. And of course, she's always on Instagram posting videos of herself dancing half naked or fully naked, rambling incoherently, just coming off like a very disturbed person. She recently got divorced from her husband after 12 seconds, and he claimed that she abused him. I don't know if that's true or not, but we do know that it was definitely not the first time that somebody close to her said that she is volatile and dangerous. This has been what most of the people close to her have been saying for a long time. Anyway, the video this week that went viral was her dancing with butcher knives, and she claims that the knives were fake. They very much appear not to be fake. But here, let's look at that video for a second. Dogs in the background are terrified. So there it is. I never actually even watched the video, so I didn't realize that she was dancing. What is that, Gregorian chant? Is that like somehow it's even more disturbing than you originally thought with the Gregorian chant in the background. While you've got this half-naked woman dancing with butcher knives. And those knives are not fake, by the way. Those are not what fake knives look like. Those are real. So, and the cops didn't think the butcher knives were fake either, which is why they showed up at her house for a wellness check. And they were the cops, they were not called by fans who were concerned. They were called apparently by a friend of hers who was worried was worried about her. And listen, it's all very sad. And it's even sadder because we're watching this woman fall apart in front of us. And it just seems very likely that in the not too distant future, she's going to do something drastic and really hurt herself or worse. And it's like it's a slow motion train wreck, and we all know that's going to happen. I think we all kind of understand she's in her early 40s now. The chance that Britney Spears turns 50 seems to be pretty low, and it's just, we all know it. So, which is why her conservatorship was in place to begin with. So once again, I was right. And I said back during the whole Free Britney movement, you may recall, and I got a lot of flack for it, a lot of flack. But I said at the time, when everybody was demanding that Britney Spears be freed from her conservatorship, and why were they demanding it? It's because they saw some documentary on FX or whatever, and most of them didn't even see the documentary. Other people saw it, and then it was trending on Twitter, and hashtag Free Britney, and so a bunch of people jumped on the bandwagon. And I said at the time, okay, people don't get conservatorships placed on them for no reason. It doesn't happen. Use your head. Stop following internet trends. Now, none of us know even like 1% of what goes on behind the scenes in anybody else's life, much less in Britney Spears' life. We don't know. But we can use our heads and we can figure out that you don't lose legal rights to make decisions over your own life for no reason. Now, of course, everyone claimed that it was a conspiracy by the people who wanted Britney's money. Okay, well, once again, use your head. There are a lot of rich celebrities out there, a lot of rich female celebrities out there who probably have people in their lives who covet their wealth, and yet they're not under conservatorships. Britney is. Why is that? Could it be because Britney very publicly had a mental breakdown and repeatedly revealed herself to be a danger to herself and those around her, including her children? Could that be it? I tried to explain this at the time. Britney, a wealthy, famous woman, lost custody and lost visitation rights. She lost visitation rights and custody over her kids in a court in Los Angeles. Do you understand how difficult that is to do? You're a woman, you're in Los Angeles, and you're rich and famous, and you lose total custody over your kids and you can't even visit them? Do you know how hard it is for a woman to pull that off, even if they're not rich and famous? Even if they're not in a Los Angeles court. Very, very hard.